I'd never really heard of Lockerbie. It's a small, fairly sleepy sort of little town. Nice place really. Well, a lady in the church had phoned us and said, did Helga get away all right? And I said, yes, Helga got away all right. Why? She said, there's been a plane crash in Scotland. Well, I turned on the television and we sat watching this news flash on the television, and I remember thinking, in fact I think I said something to the effect of, these poor people, how awful. Even when it came up, Pan Am Flight 103 came up on the screen, and I checked her bags in at the Pan Am desk, still didn't register with me. But my wife, and I think mothers have a special extra sense about their children, she said, that's Helga's plane.
Well, at first you get really like paralyzed, because when I realized that that was the plane that Helga was on, it's as if everything just stands still.
There was a stunned silence that seemed to go on forever, but I suppose it was just a few seconds. Silence was broken by Marcus yelling at the television screen, and my wife, the words hardly able to crawl out of her mouth, Helga, Helga, Helga. If anything, it strengthened my trust in him, really. This is where you prove whether it's real or whether it's just a game. Finding that what the Bible says about the peace of God and the grace of God and the help that he gives, finding that it really does work in an amazing way, only can strengthen your faith. I'll never believe in God again, she said. Well, that's just the opposite to our feelings.
Well, I don't know why we always blame God for everything. For all the bad things we do, we blame God. When we go through our daily life, we don't ask, is what we are doing pleasing God? And then all of a sudden when something happens, we make him responsible. That seems a little bit foolish to me.
I guess for most people there's someone to blame. Someone had died desperately ill of cancer or something like that. There's no one to blame, but here there's maybe someone to blame. For us, yes, there is someone to blame, but there was also someone to forgive. I think that losing someone close to you in any way, in any sense, is a traumatic event anyway. It's not something that you get over. Someone said to my wife a few months later, haven't you got over it yet? It's more like an amputation than an illness that you get over. We've had to learn to live with it, and we'll walk with a limp for the rest of our life. We've walked with a limp for 26.5 years, but we do walk, and that's the great thing. No, we have never wanted revenge. I can understand people wanting it, and I don't blame them, and I wouldn't criticise them. On the 5th morning, about 5:30 in the morning, I was in our daughter's bedroom. The night before, they released evidence that it was a bomb, and there were screams of anger from around the world. I sat at her desk and I said, Lord, if I want someone dead because my kid is dead, I make myself no better than the terrorists. I bring myself right down to their level. But I'm the sort of person who's got to do something. And I found myself reading Romans chapter 12, verse 21, Paul writing to the Christians in Rome who were having a pretty horrible time. Don't be overcome by evil, but overcome evil by doing good. And I thought, wow, that's how I win.
To be quite honest, right from the beginning, when they said that it most probably was a terrorist bomb, in my heart, I just felt very sorry and sad for the people that did it, because I thought, what sort of a life must they have to do something to somebody else like that? When you say you forgive them, you don't mean that you think that what they've done is okay, is good. It isn't. It's bad. It's very bad. But you feel like saying, Father, forgive them because they know not what they're doing. The thing is, forgiveness for me at that point meant that I didn't feel bitter, that I didn't feel revengeful, that I didn't want to hit back.
Here's Olga's grave. Next one there. Yeah. How relevant has Romans 12:21 been? Become extremely relevant. Within a week of it happening, money was coming to our door. At the funeral service, someone put a big dustbin at the back and said, "John and Lisa want to build a children's home." Well, we did. Several £1,000s were in there. But we have a children's home in the Philippines for abused and abandoned children. One girl was raped on a weekly basis from the age of 6 up to about 14 or 15. She was brought to our children's home. She's 19 now, I think. Lovely girl. She was really messed up, but she's doing great. The authorities there in the Philippines said if our daughter was alive, more than half of those over 100 kids would be dead today.
I felt that that is the best way to live anyway. I've always tried when people at a workplace or wherever have been nasty or hurtful, that I've tried to be extra nice to them and tried to show them that I didn't want to retaliate, and most of the time it has won them over.
Yes, God is all powerful and all knowing and all caring, and he could have stopped it. I had dreams, I suppose you'd call them nightmares, for weeks or even months afterwards, dreaming that God had told me there was a bomb on the plane, and I'm driving my car from Birmingham, where we lived, down the M40. I'm trying to catch it up to tell them to come down quickly, there's a bomb on board. Yes, he could have. You know, we asked ourselves this question: why didn't we have a breakdown or a puncture on the motorway as I was taking her to the airport? 1,001 ways that could have been avoided, but it wasn't. All I can say is, I don't understand it. I certainly don't like it, but I trust God. He knows best. And there are answers to these things, these eternal questions that are, who are we to answer them? Who am I even to think about the answers to some of these questions? There's a verse in the Bible that talks about the peace of God that passes understanding. That has been our experience. A better translation of the Greek is, it's the peace of God that doesn't make sense. We haven't got her, but you know, there's been probably now about 120, 130 kids through that home, and more than half would be dead today if she was alive. Of course it makes it worth it. We get something back. There is value added to our daughter's death, and we know we're going to see her again anyway.
Well, the thing is, you know, I'd rather my daughter was alive. I still miss her, but at least I've got the comfort that her life has not been in vain. There was a purpose. She touched more people for God in her death than maybe she would ever have been able to do